What's up guys, in this video we will learn how to install Linux. In this specific video we will use Parrot OS, but the same procedure can be applied to any Linux distribution, and let's dive right into it. So the first step is basically to choose a Linux distribution. There are many Linux distributions out there and you can pick whichever one you like. I'll use Parrot OS. Then you need to download its ISO file. ISO file is basically just a file that holds the OS installation. Next, you set up the installation medium. We can use a DVD, a blank DVD, or what I prefer, USB. And then you need to boot into that from that installation medium. If you used a bootable USB or made a USB bootable, then you will boot from that. And then you'll continue the installation. In the installation, it should be mostly straightforward to you, and you can just read the options, select whichever one you like, and hit next. The only thing that will need a little bit of help is the partitioning. The rest of the options are straightforward. So first of all, you select your language and keyboard layouts, your country, and then the partitioning. Then you create a user account and hit install. It will install the system, and then you can boot into the installed system. Now, to create an installation medium, you may need a blank DVD or a USB, as I said. For a USB, you can use any tool. I'll show one here. Rufus, it's a very good tool for Windows. You can use it to install, make any bootable USB. I'll not go into detail here because that will be another video. If you want to know how to make a bootable USB, you can tell in the comments and I'll make a video on that. So first of all, we need an ISO file for that Linux distribution. Whichever Linux distribution you chose, you can go to their website and download the ISO file. I already have Parrot version 5 ISO, and I will use VirtualBox for the installation because I do not want to install it in the whole system, and I will use a VirtualBox. This is like a small system, a small PC, and you can install anything in it like an OS. So just to show you, I have attached ISO here, and we hit start. Some Linux distributions have two options here: try and install, or try maybe spelled as live boot or something like that. That basically means you can run the whole OS without installing it. In some distributions like Parrot OS here, you need to first live boot into it, then install it. Just booting it. Okay, so we are in our system, and this is basically called a live boot. And you can use the whole system. The whole OS is available to use, and as you can see, if you just want to try Linux or use it just once, this is the best option. You don't even need to install it, and you can just test it without installing directly from the USB or DVD, whichever bootable medium you chose. So we will double click install Parrot, and it's asking for a language. We will select the default American English, location, and time, location, region, time zone, and number formats. You can choose whichever one you like. I'll choose English US UTF-8. Next, this is asking the keyboard layout. I have this generic 105 key, so I'll choose the default one. Now here's the partitioning part. There are basically two options. There can be more than that, like 4 options depending upon the system. The first option will erase the entire disk, the entire hard disk, and install OS on it. If you want just one system, then you can choose this one, but bear in mind this will erase the whole the hard disk, and you may want to back up your files. This option, manual partitioning, is if you want to manually partition it. There may be more options if you have any other OS installed like Windows or Mac, etc. So you can, those are there to basically enable you to install multiple OSs. Like you can dual boot, like I used to do dual boot Windows and Parrot OS. So in that way, you can use both the OSs, and when you turn on your PC, it will ask you whichever one you want to boot, and so on. So since we don't have any other OS in this 20 GB hard disk, virtual hard disk, we will choose the first option. This will again raise the whole hard disk and install ParrotOS on it. Here is the option to set up swap. Now what is swap? Swap is basically let's just say alternative to RAM. It's not an alternative, it's basically a backup. It's like when your memory or RAM gets filled up and you don't have any memory left, instead of the whole system crashing, it uses swap, which is basically a portion of the hard disk as its RAM. I recommend you set it up, but it's not mandatory, but although recommended. You can use whichever option you like. If you are not sure, you can just choose swap to file. Click next. Full name, username, name of computer, password. Hit next. This is a review, a summary of all your settings. If you want to change anything, you can go back right now because it hasn't installed your system yet. When you click install, it will start installing the system and you may not be able to change these settings. So if you are satisfied with these settings, hit next and install now. Now this is installing the system. It will take quite a while and there is not much going on here. It will just complete the installation and ask you to reboot into your newly installed system. So I'll pause the video here and resume when it's done. Okay, so our system is installed and it's asking us to reboot now. So I'll just click done. Okay, so we are in our booted system and it's asking which one of these options to select. If you install a multi-boot system, like I said, you can install Linux distribution alongside any other OS like Windows or Mac. You will see the options right here. We only have one option with different settings here, compatibility settings and advanced options. If you had any other OS, it will be listed here. Also, I forgot to mention, be sure to remove the DVD or USB or whichever installation medium you chose, because if you don't, you may end up booting again from there. So here we are. We will select the first option. Okay, so we are booted into our system and it's asking for a password. Type in whichever password you chose. And here we are. Okay, so we have successfully installed Linux, ParrotOS in this case. As you can see, it has a lot of tools pre-installed, but that's another video. Okay, so that's it for today's video. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit like. If you didn't, you can hit dislike, and be sure to subscribe. And if you want a video on a specific topic regarding Linux, you can ask in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.